And welcome back. My name is Benjamin Ryder, and I'm speaking with Jeff Lafrenz. Jeff, you wear several different hats. We were talking about that. But you're here to talk about data visualization, or is that?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So for the layman, what does that mean?
Essentially what we're looking at is different ways of taking what could be tabular data or any kind of raw data information or data and turning it into information, turning information therefore into something that people can understand and take action on.
Like the most simple explanation would be like a bar graph.
Bar graph is a very simple informational type representation in graphics, but it's a static representation. We're looking at ways to make those interactive. So ways to turn the data into something live, something you can interact with and can drive the what-if scenarios out of by actually doing that interaction.
And so, I mean, is this like could you call it an industry? Like this, what you're doing here?
Well, analytics as a whole is an industry, absolutely. And information visualization is a way of doing analytics better. It's a way of enhancing the way that analytics is done. It's also a way of taking the results of analytics to the decision makers and allowing them to make decisions on a richer understanding of the underlying data versus a static representation that a simple graph might have as an example.
Yeah, so like comparing if I had a huge 10,000 page manual with all the data, you can take that into something that I can look at and just understand.
And interact with. And so it's the interaction side of it that brings that understanding. Any data analyst, when they're doing the data analysis, they are inherently trying to simplify an answer out of the richness of the data that can be understood and used for that decision process. Sometimes, because of the nature of what they're doing, they have to oversimplify it. If you're getting it down to a simple graph can't represent possibly the vast richness of the data that underlies it, but hopefully gives the essence of it. By putting an interactive aspect into it, you can draw even more meaning and allow the decision makers to draw that meaning through interaction themselves within the data set versus just a static representation that a data analysis might be able to produce.
So where can this be applied? I mean,
pretty much anywhere. It can be applied from sports to environmental monitoring to looking at well data from oil and gas. It could be involved in healthcare systems. Anywhere where you have large amounts of data or even small amounts of data that are complicated to understand, visualization can be beneficial.
Great. And so in terms of research, I mean, it sounds like what you're talking about is still fairly new.
Some aspects of it are new. It's an evolution for sure of systems that have been going.
And where is it going?
Where's it going? Well, technology-wise, we're going to a huge number of new devices that are interactive by their nature. So anything from cell phones to tablets to touch table technologies to interactive rooms. These are new ways to interact with information in that sense. And then on top of that, you add the visualization that allows them to modify and look at the richness of the underlying it. And that's the combination of things we're seeing. So we're really seeing this combination of technologies, hardware technologies, and software technologies merging to create a new, richer interactive environment for visualization.
Great. Well, we're gonna have to go to break here, but I do want to talk about some of the clients that you might see and how they would come to you and get your services for them. Can you talk about that?
Well, I represent two different organizations within this context. One of them is the University of Calgary. I work with a group called SurfNet at the university, and we look at these technologies and their application, both from the fundamentals of interaction, how do you interact with the devices, how do multiple devices interact with each other, and then working with industry to crack the tough nuts that they're looking at. How do they solve their business problems using the outcomes of the research they're working on? So SurfNet as an organization is a group that looks at those kind of things. But as an organization that's in the university system, it can only create things to the level of a prototype or a proof of concept. Vizworx is a company that we formed out of that organization that then looks at how we can create commercial applications of those things for those customers. So that's the way essentially that we engage with them, either directly through the university system and then brought into the Vizworx, or from Vizworx with the company if they have a problem that's already at a level where it can be solved.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for the interview.
Thank you.
Join the conversation next year as more cities become data-driven. Become a community partner. Contact us at info@abctech.ca.